Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Stu, and this is Cactus Desert for Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic. Another scenario from Terra Hank. The Cactus Desert amusement park has just opened its first few rides. You must ensure that its expansion is successful. Your objective to achieve a park value of at least 200,000 at the end of October. Year 3. Okay, so our first park value scenario in this pack, and we've got a river rafts ride. Is that what they're called? Yep, river rafts ride. That's pretty cool. Oh, what's this? There's a Cobra Roll. It's a stand-up coaster. And a Batwing. Nice. Nice stats. Okay. Do you know what? Normally, I'm not a fan of the pre-builts on scenarios. But these are done well. But we can mention that later. Okay. So let's have a look. We're charging for rides. That's cool. That makes it a little easier. We've got... Okay, we've seen that. We've got some gentle rides. Oddly, more water rides available on a desert than we had on the scenario with the huge lake in the middle. But whatever, we've already mentioned that. We've got some coasters. Okay, we've already got one of them. We can do something cheap and cheerful with them, and obviously that's something for later. Only one thrill ride. We've seen the water rides, and not a great selection of shops. We would like that sweet umbrella cash. So I think first thing to do would be to research shops. Hopefully we'll get a kiosk out of it, or a souvenir stall, or something. If not, we could do with a bit more variety on the food. Okay then, so we've got the river rafts there. I am going to keep the pre-builts. I am going to keep them, but I am a tinkerer. You know that. So I think you see where that bottom boat is now, right in the middle, right there would be a great spot for a second station connected down behind the gate. That way, because let's have a look. That's 4 minute ride time. That's quite long. So if we do that, we can split it. We can effectively get twice as many people on the rides, make a little bit more cash. What are we charging for this? $2.50. Don't make me laugh. That's £10 if ever I've seen one. So we'll put that up. We might move the observation tower. Yeah, we can move that because this is great. It's got this sort of centerpiece ride. It's really cool. We can do a path loop around that hill. Bring it back down to here. And then we've got tons of space then on the inside and the outside. Yeah, so by the time we've done that, hopefully we'll have unlocked the shops that we want and we can crack on with researching something else. July year 1, we've got that second station on the river rafts. We've got a spiral slide just down there. So I've rejigged the paths. I've replaced the default path with that nice sort of crazy paving style. And I've rejigged the paths on the stand-up coaster. I did have to slightly tweak the bends right in the middle there, but it doesn't really alter the design too much. So we've got the exit path coming out the left-hand side of the coaster as we're looking at it, and the queue path in on the right, and they both come out on this little section there. There's something definitely reminiscent of, is it Montu in Busch Gardens about this, except that's an invert, but yeah, something definitely reminiscent about that. Let's have a look then. What are we researching? Okay, so we've switched to thrill rides. We've got a decent selection of shops now, and we've got that kiosk. So if and when it does rain, I mean, we are in a desert after all, we are going to get a ton of cash from the umbrellas. So now we've done that, what we can do is we can build a path loop around that hill. As I said, do rides on the inside, rides on the outside. We're going to have a great time. It's a park value scenario. Current park value is 71,000. The bulk of that was the pre-builts. So there's a few things that make up park value, but the three things you need to take away from it, the most important things, is the bulk of park value is ride stats. So high ride stats, these excitement, intensity, nausea ones at the top, those are what's going to give you your best bang for your buck. The second thing to take away is that duplicate rides will give you a 25% penalty on your park value. So let's say, for example, this stand-up coaster gives me 40,000 in park value. If I was to build another identical stand-up coaster, then each of those two would only give me 30,000 park value. And the third thing to take away is that ride value or park value from the rides will depreciate over time. So if you build your big coaster in year one, by the end of year three, it's going to be worth a bit less. So you want to save your big guns for last. October year one, 150,000 park value, and we've got a junior coaster just interacting with the stand-up coaster as well. We've changed the stand-up coaster to Emotep, and the junior coaster. Why do I never pick ones that are easy to pronounce? Man. Yeah, there you go. And then we've got a pirate ship just down here. So I've sort of decorated that little area. We've got the path loop. We're still unlocking thrill rides. I've not done the roof of that path just in the middle between the canvas and the canopies of the entrance and exit and the Cobra Roll. I want to see maybe later on we can unlock some scenery and see if there's any. Hang on, have we got scenery? No. Huh. Okay then. I'll fix that at some point. Yeah, so I've redone the paths and stuff as well. Yeah, we've got a twist that side. We've got a merry-go-round just there. We've got a drop tower just there. Thing with the drop tower, same with the roto drop, is that if you're stuck, come the end of the scenario, if you're like only a few weeks away or whatever, and you're really close to the goal, or you've just done the goal, and you just want to make sure, you can ram them up to top to the maximum height. Just open them up, and as soon as the test results come back, even if the guests won't go on them, it'll still add load to your park value. Similar thing with rides like the merry-go-round and the twist. Even though they won't add as much park value, you can up the number of rotations, which will increase the stats and give you a little bit extra as well. With roller coasters, you can just add, with, say, for example, this junior coaster. Same with the stand-up, actually, because they're only running one train. Okay, no, it's running two. So you can't do it with that, but with the junior coaster, you can. You can up the number of circuits. That'll increase the stats. That'll give you a bit more value. October year two, and we've got a Wooden Wild mine ride just there. Tomb raiding, because we don't want to get sued. And then just here, then we've got Desert Rally. I did say I was going to start dropping game references, and I haven't done that anymore. But at some point, I will. I will do that again. I guess Tomb raiding is kind of works for that. Yeah, so what we've been doing is we've been filling in the inside with more thrill rides. And there you go, we've got some shops and seating areas just there. We've got a top spin just there. And then after that, then I switched my research into roller coasters. So I left this gap there, that one tile gap there, because I was thinking, depending on what roller coaster we had, we could have something coming up here and dropping down. I just couldn't get it to look nice. So I've just gone for this looping coaster just there, Pharaoh, and it launches out through the loop, photo section, up little helix, another loop, and then back to station there. Did we see the stats? Decent stats on that. Cool. Yeah, so I quite like the way this is, and I've sort of got a plan now for year three. We're researching roller coasters, so we've got what I would say is three distinct areas. So the area below the path loop closest to me, and then the area now below the path loop, that side, so that'll be area 2, and then this area up here with the hill, that's area 3. So I'm thinking, looking at what we've got this compact inverted coaster that would make a nice, cool, high intensity ride. And then on this section down here, a wooden coaster that would be pretty cool for some sort of standout showcase ride. And then over here where we've got this hill, how about a mine train coaster? And we can terraform this area and corkscrew. No, stick to the plan. And then we can terraform it and do something cool that side. But we've only got a year to do it in, and we've got a huge amount of work in a year. But I've got a plan, and I'll explain it when it comes to it. August year 3. Now remember, the end of this scenario is October year 3. So we've got this one here. Haven't named it yet, but remember that reference I said earlier for Busch Gardens? So I'm thinking this is going to be named after that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this design. I'm not going to, there's an underground path section, so I won't save that. And I've got my wooden coaster just over here. I'm going to save that. Now this little bit where I've colored blue, I'm going to replace those with water, what do you call them? The water splashes. And then, so when I place this then, I'm going to dig out underneath, replace these with the water splashes, and we'll be good to go. So now, because I've got these saved, what I can do is I can revert back, or sorry, what I should say is, we were digging in the desert and we discovered a time machine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to channel the power of the Egyptian gods, travel back in time, and then use the blueprints for these coasters in order to build them really quickly, so I can then spend more time on the final coaster. March year 3. So if people are just randomly skipping through the video, they're not going to know where they are. They're going to think, oh, he's edited that wrong. Anyway, so we went through the time machine, went all the way back to March year 3, and then we've used the blueprints to build these rides quite quickly. So we've got Montu just there. Good stats on that. So I didn't have the underground sections. So what I've done is I've just then done the underground sections, added the path, and we're good to go. Over on the wooden coaster, now in hindsight, I should have done the extra little bits of scenery and saved that. So I've then dug underneath and added the water splashes. And you know, this synchronizes up so well. I was working on this quite a bit. So I'll give you a little show of how I've managed to. Let's hide supports. Let's hide scenery. So on the inside track, as we're looking at it now, you see there it's missing the bottom couple of chain links or chain lifts pieces. So that just means that, can you see the red one is slightly ahead going into the chain lift? Let's turn these back on a second. And then just down here, again, the inside track has got a brake, just a little trim brake. It's set to about 45 miles per hour. And that's basically all they do. So if we look at, it's called Ra. So if we look at the yellow train as it drops down, you'll just see it sort of bounce on the limit. There you go. And that's just enough so that when it comes round, it's basically perfect. I've had to tweak the track at the back, but they synchronize really well. I mean, you can't account for, you know, a lot of skinny people joining one train and a lot of fatties joining the other. But I mean, you know, you can't deal with that because guests in the game have like a random weight. So they are going to move differently. And then over here, then, this is what we're going to work on. So we've got basically a whole year now to work on this. I think we're just going to plonk down a station, start doing a design, do like a rough sort of jagged outline, and then terraform it later. May year 3, and we've got our basic outline for our coaster. Decent stats. So yeah, this is the jagged outline, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around smoothing it out. We've got plenty of time. What is the value? The park value is 283,000. We need 200,000, so we're not going to lose 83,000 in a year. So we'll be fine. We're going to do this, no problem. Look at the synchronization. Yes. So yeah, I'm going to carry on working on this. I'll see you later. October year 3, and I think this has turned out really well. So this is my mine train coaster, and I've called it Sinai after a mountain that I believe is in Egypt. So yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Let's have a look at the stats. decent stats, but you know, it looks pretty epic. This isn't bad for a coaster. What we've gone and done, whipped up in a scenario. Thanks to the time travel hack that we managed to use after finding a time machine in a tomb. Yes. Onto there, fix the numbering on it. Guests not going on it because it's rainy. I've been around putting up some fences and things, stop the guests wandering into the deserts. Because I mean, if they start wandering in the deserts, I mean, they could be there for about 40 years. So, yeah, and then I've been dropping down some random palm trees and bits of stone and stuff. We can do that in Classic. It doesn't take long. It's a desert after all. You're not meant to have too much. Little maze just there, just one continuous line going from start to finish, which is the best, the optimum way to make mazes. You don't want them getting lost. You just want them in and out. A quick 20-second adventure. You're going to get the same stats whether you make them complicated or easy. So why would you want them getting lost? And a go-kart just there with a little bit of interaction with the coaster. And let's just have a look at that. Oh, and the loop. Perfect. And the synchronization at the end. Yahtzee. Yes. A little bit of decoration on the hill there. I suppose I could have, with a bit more time, I probably could have gone around the whole park and tried to make it look a bit more varied. But yeah, this was a great scenario. I really enjoyed this. Do you know, sometimes the pre-builts, I know a lot of people do ask me why I keep getting rid of pre-builts, and usually it's because of a few things. Firstly, because the pre-builts are often ugly. Secondly, it's because they're usually very, very inefficient. And so you've got like a 20 or so £1,000 coaster that you could probably do a better job with just like a £5,000 coaster of the same type. And thirdly, because they're just in the way. Whereas these ones, this coaster here, it looked great. It was a good design, and it wasn't in the way because it was on this hill, and we got plenty of space around it. So yeah, I've got no problem keeping a ride like this. This was great. So far, every single scenario I've played, I mean, this is only like the third one, but they've all been amazing in this scenario park. This is once again the Terra Henk scenario park. Graphic will pop up on screen, and it's Halloween. Anytime now. I've done the roof. There you go. Stew. Fantastic. What do we finish off on? Park value of 328,000. I didn't check it before because I knew there was no danger in us failing. So look, I just used that default roof on that. So what do we do then? We came in. There was a river raft ride and a stand up. So I tweaked the parvin slightly. I added an extra station onto the river rafts. So we've now got two halves. So one takes, rather than 4-minute ride, it's now almost 2 minutes for each one, average out. And then what we do, we moved the observation tower. We built a path loop around the stand-up course. It was called Mummifier. We renamed it to Emotep. And then, because we were in talks with a certain movie company for having like a licensing deal, but that fell through. So then we filled the inside of the path loop with thrill rides. We built this junior coaster and the looping coaster just round there. And then after that, then we had a year left. So we built this coaster just down here, this compact inverted coaster called Montu, as a homage to Montu in Busch Gardens. And then we built this wooden coaster, and by then it was about August, year 3. But luckily, we found a time machine in a tomb where we were digging in one of the parts of the park. So we used that time machine to go back to March, put down the coasters using the blueprints we'd already developed, and then we were able to decorate them quite quickly, and then spend the rest of the year building this amazing mine train just over here. I'm not going to do a before and after again. You can just rewind the video. But yeah, I think it's turned out really well. It's just, why is it now that it's raining? When I want to do an outro, it rains. But yeah, honestly, what a great scenario. What a great scenario pack it's been so far. No, I don't want to do that. There's been an update. So I play on Android, and there's been an update where they've changed some things. So now sometimes when you hit certain parts of the screen, it thinks you want to leave, and it keeps giving you that message. But yeah, I think we've got to go for the stand-up coaster first, haven't we? So this was Cactus Desert for Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic, another scenario from Terra Henk. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!